Who is this person? This isn't Eden. Well, wait, it is. I got a haircut. That's the most ridiculous intro ever, but whatever. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Let's Get Kraken podcast. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. I always appreciate it. If you are a new viewer, hi, I'm Eden. I'm the owner of Kraken Made, where I sell my handmade polymer clay charms and other progress keepers, patterns. Oh my goodness, I can't even remember my own intro. Let's try that again. I'm not even going to edit it. I'm the owner of Kraken Made, where I sell my handmade progress keepers of all sorts. And I'm a pattern designer and yarn dyer, which I don't have a yarn in the shop right now, but soon enough. And you can find me on Instagram as Crafting Kraken Made. You can also find me on Lovecrafts and Payhip. Okay, there we go. Made it through the intro. So first things first, I got a haircut just this morning. I wanted to kind of postpone filming the podcast so that I could include my new haircut. So it's just getting used to being in this way. I haven't had bangs in a very long time. I used to have bangs a couple years ago, I think now, and I really enjoyed them, so I wanted to get back to them. My hair is shorter. I love this haircut. It felt so good to just get a fresh start in my hair. So yeah, I do look different, but it's still me. Yeah, that's the first thing off. I'm not wearing any knits today, but I switched out my hexagon puff stitch blanket for a quilt. I did not make this. I've had it since I was a little kid. And then, you see just out of the corner, I got my squishy dot pillow here, as always. It's by Kate Celine. No, sorry. I'm extra excited today. I don't know why. It's probably a new haircut that just gives you like extra. I hope you have coffee with you today. Or something caffeinated, something warm and cozy. I'm all over the place. My goodness. Anyway, I have one finished object to show and some whips. Not very many today, but I say that almost every time, and then it turns to be like an almost hour-long episode. So, see how that goes. I feel like there was something else I wanted to talk about in the intro. Oh! I released a new pattern a few days ago. I'm filming this on February 4th. It'll be coming out. This episode will be out on the 5th. This pattern came out on the 1st of February, and it is the rain headband. See how this looks? My new hair. Not too bad. Anyway. But yeah, this is a remix of the rain toque pattern that I released back in December of 2021. So it is a double thick headband out of DK weight yarn. And you've got your crown pattern in there, design, texture, something like that. You can add little beads if you wanted to make it your crown, but this pattern is available on my website, on Lovecrafts and Payhip. I do not sell my patterns on Ravelry. I am not on Ravelry. Long story, but I just don't do that there. So if you would like this pattern, it is on my website, Lovecrafts and Payhip. all the links to that and all the stuff I talk about are in the description below. But yeah, this is my latest pattern release. I love it. When I first started this, I kept saying, I'm not a headband person. I do like my toques. But since wearing this, I love having a headband, especially when I go out to the post office. I usually walk, so I get really warm when I'm walking, and I usually end up taking my toque off partway through. But this keeps my ears protected from the wind because it's double layered. You don't get any air flying through this. No way. It's still nice and stretchy. Yeah, so that's new release. I love this. Okay. So that was the only thing I really wanted to talk about in the intro. So I'm just gonna take a sip of coffee. And as my mug is saying, we can move on to finished objects. One object. Technically it's objects. But let's get cracking. My bangs are gonna change every scene because I keep touching them. It's a new feeling to have bangs again, but I will definitely get used to them. So, first or only finished object is I finished my Crux Fiber socks. And these are night and day, yin and yang. They go by different names. But yeah, I finished these. So I've got one with, this is Crux Fiber, so we have oxide and mint. And then we have mint and oxide as the opposite. So they are a pair of socks that are meant to go together. I'm going to put them out this way because they seem to want to sit that way still. I haven't blocked them yet, but I've worn them a couple times and they're very comfortable. These are just vanilla socks done with two 50-gram balls of each color. And I love these. I like doing this because it feels like you're technically knitting the same pair of socks, but you feel like you're knitting different socks. You know, you don't, if you're someone who's prone to second sock syndrome, you don't really get it with these, which is fun. Sometimes I get that, but not lately. But I love these socks. This is a simple vanilla sock pattern. It's just one I've memorized in my own brain. So it is a 64 stitch sock on 2.25 millimeter needles, a short row heel. I believe this one I did 50 rows on my leg because I don't knit very long legs on my socks, and a 20 round cuff with knit 2 purl 2. And I did do both of them cuff down, which usually I do toe up. I usually prefer doing toe up because it's helpful to know how much yarn you use in a sock first off, and you make sure that you've got your foot, and then that'll decide your leg. But these ones I did cuff down. But yeah, those are done. I love having my vanilla socks for wearing. I wear these a lot in my shoes and I don't worry about them. They hold up pretty well. And I love these colors. They go together so well. And they don't even look like they're mix matched. They look like they belong together. So yeah, that is my first finished object. Or I keep saying first, but it's my only one. I have been doing quite a bit of knitting though. So let's move on to some whips. I'm not even gonna cut seam, we're just gonna move on. I don't know. I'm gonna just go for it mood today. So technically they're finished objects, but I put this in a whip because technically the project itself isn't done yet. But I've made a bunch of granny squares lately. I made 2 with the yarn from the leftovers of the socks that I just finished. So this is Mint, and again this is Crux Fibers, and that is Oxide. I love this color so much. She has changed up her shop lately. This is on a superwash 7525 base, and since then she's changed to all natural wools, which is awesome, and she's got some gorgeous colors in the shop right now. But yeah, those are those two, and I did one out of my hand-dyed yarn. This is Val on a 7525. I saved a mini for myself out of this and did a granny square, and these are all done in fingering weight. I've got the blue that I did Lawrence the Tiger from the last podcast episode out of. And I don't know if I showed this or not. I can't remember when I made it, but this is just a plain cream. I don't know the name, but I had it and decided to make one. So that puts me at 28 granny squares in total. I'm going to throw those into the granny square bag. Originally, I was gonna take those granny squares and turn them into pants, but lately I've been really thinking about that. Pants in particular are something that I grow out of really quickly, or I change my weight very easily through time, so I'm constantly needing to get new pairs of jeans, mostly every year. So I'm a little worried of putting all that work into a pair of pants and then they just don't fit. So I want to make something else. I'm not quite sure what I want to do yet, but do comment down below what you would do with granny squares. What did I say? 28 squares so far. I could either turn it into something, or I could just keep making them until I have enough for a Afghan, which would kind of be fun, a good project. But I did the math. If I were to do an Afghan, I would want it to be big enough to cover my double or full, goes by two different names, size bed. Which, doing the math, it was kind of late at night and I used rough measurements. I'd need about 168. It's gonna take a while. But it is a very relaxing project that I can work on a little bit at a time. So I'm kind of leaning towards doing an Afghan, but if you have any ideas, do let me know. Might be some better things to do with it. I don't know why I do that. If I enjoy a cup of coffee, I always seem to do that. Anyway, let's move on to next whip. I finished the body and the sleeve of my Flax light sweater. It's just a baby sweater. I'm doing the 6 to 12 month size. 12th month size. I guess that's how you'd say it. I'm just following the measurements the pattern calls for. It looks like a super long sleeve, but better long than short. And I'm doing this out of Story Weaver yarn. This is Once Upon a Christmas. It's a beautiful skein of yarn. Fingering weight 75-25. But here we are. Last time I was just finishing off the body. I just did it with DPNs. I've done the ribbing, all the ribbings with size 2.5 millimeter needles. And then the main part of the body is 2.75 millimeter. So that is smaller than what the pattern calls for. And I really like this gauge. I don't like my knits to be meshy, so to speak. So this has it's still quite light, but it's not really meshy. So yeah, I finished one sleeve. There we go. It's been pretty fun to make this. And I've got the second sleeve on the needles. I'm hoping to finish it probably this weekend. And then I will have another finished object for next podcast episode. I originally started this as a gift for somebody who is having a baby, but then I realized that it just wasn't her colors. So I decided I'm still gonna finish this and I'll just put it away as a gift for somebody maybe next time, or it'll just sit until one day when I have my own kids and they can wear it, which is probably not anytime soon. But yeah, that is the thing I've been working on the most lately, really, because I definitely want to get it done. And it's just been sitting in my Espresso Patronum bag by So Crazy Crafter. And this is a sock bag, but this whole sweater and the ball fits in there very nicely. It's not crushed or anything. So, and this is the Flax Light by Tin Can Knits, which has sizes from newborn to adult extra large, which is amazing. It's a free pattern. And knitting this, I've really liked having the idea of knitting myself one and knowing how I would construct it. So it's like a mini experiment. So I highly recommend sorry. I highly recommend knitting a baby sweater because it is really fun. It's like knitting a pair of socks. It's a quick and simple project, but it's not like a huge project that will take up a lot of time. You want like a mindless knit. I don't know where I'm going with that. Anyway, it's a project that if you don't feel like making a pair of socks with a single skein of yarn, then make a baby sweater out of it, because you never know when you could give it away and make a beautiful gift for somebody and you can enjoy it. I'm a very process knitter, so the idea of having the process of knitting something that's small but not a pair of socks, this fits perfectly. I have a basket over here in the corner right by the couch that holds all my project bags, so I'm just going to put them there after I talk about them. Okay, so put those there. My next work in progress, maybe I'll show this one first. I started another pair of socks. This will be a new sock design that I am loving so much. It is amazing. So just give you a glance here. So I'm knitting this out of Dragon Horde yarn. This is Colors of the Wind. This was her Pocahontas Disney Princess Club, which I love Pocahontas. And it's such a beautiful yarn with this. The mini is a very light minty blue. And the main skein is a really pretty multicolor of browns and turquoise. I started these two at a time, but then I realized that the textured pattern, you have to do it one at a time when carrying your stitches over. So this is a really easy pattern to memorize and do. You are just slipping, come on, you can do it, camera. You are just slipping stitches and then carrying them over right to left, and it creates this really pretty textured pattern. So I think these are going to become, I'm going to call them for now, the brush stroke socks because it kind of reminds me of like a crazy painting, and then you can see the way the brush went with the paint. So yeah, I'm doing these on size 2.25 millimeter needles. These are Chiagoos. I love these, on magic glue. So this is a 32 length. And there I've just got one of my own progress keepers. It's a little treasure chest. I don't know if you can see it. Oh yeah. And then on the other one, I'm just working on this one first, and then I'll move on back to same needles. I think these are longer, so. But yeah, there's the other one. I started these toe up. You can definitely do this pattern toe up or cuff down. It's just, I will rate it to be able to go both ways for your own preference. The patterning is just that these carried stitches will go down, left and right, instead of up. So it really doesn't matter. On this one, I've just got a little frog from my Practical Magic Club. Yeah. So that is a new design in the works that I'm loving. But now that I'm done my Crux Fiber socks, I would really like to cast on another pair of something vanilla socks, because I kind of miss having something like that I can take on the go. Lately, all my whips, as some of them are mindless, they're kind of big, like my Advent blanket, which I want to get back to. It's getting a little bit big for like taking on errands, but yeah. And I've just got this in my kitchen sink shop bucket. I love this. It's perfect for just having it sit beside you or on the table, just so that it doesn't get messy at all. So yeah, that is a new design in the works. And then that kind of branches off to this next whip. A little sip of coffee first. I don't want to forget about it and it goes cold on me. Okay, so this is sitting in my Noble Character Crafts bag, which I love. And this is what I'm going to call now my Brush Strokes Shawl, because it's using the same texture as the socks. So this is originally what I called my watercolor shawl, and it is about this big now. And I have stopped my increasing, and now I'm going to work out a long section of this, of the same stitch carry texture. As you can see right there, I've got my Ludo Progress Keeper from Ginger Snap. Ludo is probably my favorite character ever from the movie Labyrinth. Yeah, so he's living on this project. I'm holding fingering weight, held double. In my magic cake here, it's getting a little messy now. This is about 200 grams. But you could, this is a pattern design I hope to have out maybe March, but I'm thinking more April. So, totally lost my train of thought. So you could do this, it's fingering weight held double, or you could use DK weight yarn. For this, I'm doing this on 3.75 millimeter needles. Do excuse my very chipped nails of nail polish. I have to do them again soon, but anyway. So it is that slip stitch pattern on here that I think will go really well with the craziness of the fingering weight held double. Then it's got a garter increase. So yeah, I really love this design. I'm obsessed with this texture right now because it's easy to remember and really easy to do. So yeah, that is my last work in progress. in this bag. So yeah, that is all the knitting I have to show this week. That went by a little bit faster than I thought it would. So, but anyway, we'll sip coffee. Nothing much going on here. I think my husband and I are going to go on a little trip to see his family this weekend, and I'm gonna bring knitting. I might just cast on another pair of socks today. I have been working really hard on trying to downsize my projects because they were getting a little bit out of hand. So I'm taking old projects and making sure that I actually finish them, because they are ones that I do want to finish, like my So Faded cardigan by Andrea Mowry. I am going to take that out and definitely finish it, because I would really love this cardigan to wear and enjoy. But I think I can surpass casting on another pair of socks. I think that's allowed. So if you want an excuse to cast on something new, just work with me here. You can blame me. Blame me. So so yeah, that will be my plan for the next little while. So you might see a little bit of progress on my cardigan next episode. That'll be good. And yeah, so thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, night, or whatever time it is where you are. And I will see you next time. Bye.